So, all right, here we go. Got something good going. I'm just going to wait on a couple people to pop in. Once that happens, I'm just going to draw something random because I like drawing random stuff. So, you're welcome to hang out or ask any questions or do whatever you want. I am going to get started in just a second. Now, I am a vapor, so if that bothers you, I apologize. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. I highly recommend the Bolts mod. I make custom plates for them. That's a Dead Rabbit. It's a beautiful piece of equipment. If you're a vapor, you want to learn a little bit about vaping, just let me know. I'm going to go ahead and get started. So, I'm in Photoshop, and I'm going to just start. Just make sure my stream is public now, because for some reason when I post it I have to go change it to public so that other people can see it. Yep, looks good to me. Roll on. If you missed the beginning of this video, it will be posted eventually on YouTube, so I encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm going to get started. I'm going to go in and take one of my random favorite brushes, grab some sky bluey color, and I'm just going to paint some sky in here. Now, it doesn't really look like sky, but it doesn't really matter, so I'm going to blur this anyway. I just want to put a little blue in it, so the blue really makes the background pop. Yeah, just like that. That's what I'm looking for. I'm going to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and I think that's it's a little too lumpy to be a sky. I want something, yeah, just like that. That's pretty much what I'm going for right there. I'm going to create a new layer and change to a different brush. I have a whole bunch of brushes that I really love to use. I'm going to grab a really dark brown color, and I'm just going to sketch in a couple mountains. Mountains never have to be perfect. You can go in and modify and change them at any time. You can make them your own. That's kind of what I'm looking for right there. Maybe another smaller one over here. Doesn't have to be beautiful. It's a very basic shape, so you're just making a top part of a triangle. And then you just kind of give it a bottom. The bottom's not necessary. It's just for me so that I know where I'm going to stop coloring. Might put another little one going in over there. It's probably going to get covered up later anyway. I'm going to make my brush bigger. Now, I make my brush, I don't know how most people make their brush bigger, but when I'm drawing, I make my brush bigger by holding down my Alt key and right-clicking and dragging. That way you don't have to go back to your brush commands all the time and change your brush size. And the best thing about Photoshop is when you start learning the shortcut keys. The shortcut keys really make a difference. They speed up everything you do. So I recommend, if you don't know them, there are plenty of resources available online. Just look up Photoshop shortcut keys. This is exactly what I'm shooting for. Now, the reason we do dark like this is because anything you create needs to have a shadowy background. It needs to, whatever, like if I'm going to put snow on top of these. And if I do that, I want that snow to have dark spots. Now there's no real easy way to put a dark spot on top of light colors. So you always want to put your dark color down first. That's the Bob Ross method. A lot of real serious painters and artists, even people who do it in Photoshop like I do, they use that method because you can't put a dark color on top of a light color. You'll cover up that light color. So just gonna sketch this in, and if you're viewing, feel free to ask any questions. If you think I should create something different, just ask. I'm not doing anything particular. My wife's going out tonight. It's girls' night out, so I'm just gonna sit here and sketch away and see what I can create. Now I want it to come down a little bit further because I believe there's going to be a tree line here, and I want to cover up at least as far as the tree line. What's up, Jake? How you doing, buddy? So I got my basic. This is my very basic outline of my mountains. That's where I want to start. I'm going to go in and throw in some snow. Now, when you put snow on, it's got to be like a perfect blend of colors. I want the background of these mountains to be like a shadow, and the only way to shadow is to create or grab a bluish color. The bluish color becomes your shadow, and you also gotta, that's way too big. It's not what I'm looking for. I need to do something like this. Maybe. I really don't want, this brush doesn't lay like I like for it to. Yeah, it's too thick. I need something real scratchy. I need an ugly brush. Let's see. Maybe kind of like this brush. I don't know if I can. Yeah, I think that might be the one. So, nah, I don't know. You know, when you do things like this in Photoshop, it's all trial and error. Like, I didn't learn this overnight. This is not it's not simple. A lot of people want to learn how to do it, but they don't want to put the time into it. I posted earlier on Facebook that I got my first computer. It was a Commodore 64. It had 64 kilobytes of memory. That's tiny for anybody that knows anything about computers. And I was programming that computer at, I don't know, 10 years old. Because, you know, before Windows, you didn't get software like you do today. You got a computer, and it was up to you to create programs on your own. So I taught myself the basic programming language when I was young. And unfortunately, none of those programs work today because computers work differently. But I used to create screensavers for neighborhood kids, and, you know, I did a whole bunch of cool stuff. So I am having a real hard time getting this brush to work like I want it to. Way too big. Let's see. Gotta get just right. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Might be a little. Needs to be a little lighter, I think. Like this. Now, when I'm creating my my mountains, I don't want the edge to be heavy. Like, I don't want it to be like a straight edge down the side of the mountain. I want it to be ugly. I love when my kids walk in on me while I'm trying to stream. My Lexi, she's so pretty. She loves computers, so if she finds out that I'm streaming, she loves to get in here and get on the camera and talk to people. So this is kind of what I'm going for. Just blue. I mean, it's not pretty. There's nothing about it that's pretty. But at the end, you won't know that. Let me see. There's got to be a better brush. I think this is not the brushes I normally use for mountains. This is brushes I use for woods. I'm sure there's another option. I just haven't found it yet. Hi, Rebecca. I'm just killing time. You're welcome to hang out as long as you want. I got nothing better to do, so. Figured I might as well stream live for a little while and draw some cool stuff. There's a lot of people out there that want to learn Photoshop for their photos, but I assure you, you can make your photos look a lot better if you learn how to draw in it first. Let's see. So hard finding the right tool. This is a new brush pack for me, so I'm not really familiar with the way the brushes look. Kind of like that. Yeah. That's all right. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm going for. Cool. Move this out of the way. So all I'm doing is I'm creating a shadow on that side of the mountain because I want the sunlight to come from the right side. So this blue is actually a shadow. I'll get white. I'm going to paint white as the snow, so yeah, that's kind of what I'm going for. Cool. Get the shadowy side. And then you just grab a white brush. Let's see. And go up to my brush tools and change the direction of the brush and create the snowy sides. If you guys have any questions, I'm just killing time, so I'm probably not going to talk a lot. I'm just focusing on my drawing, but you're welcome to hang out as long as I can stay online and see what's going on. I really like this. I like the fact that the snow right here, it looks like there's a peak because it looks like the snow didn't stay in that area. So it's exactly what I'm going for. And for the most part, your flaws won't be visible at the end because you're going to cover most of that up by a foreground. So you don't even really have to worry about flaws. Just go in, paint a little bit here and there, bring your artwork to life. And I'll go in and correct this area here when I'm done. Like that. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. If not, that's okay too. I highly recommend you subscribe to my YouTube channel for my benefit. I do not get paid to do YouTube. I wish I did, but YouTube has recently changed all of its policies, and you have to have thousands of subscribers and thousands of hours viewed before you ever get paid. So your subscription does help me toward that goal, but ultimately I don't get anything for doing this. I am just killing time. It's a beautiful Friday night. My wife's going out with some friends, so I'm just sitting here. Lexi's playing a game in her room. Charlie's upstairs playing Fortnite. If any of you guys play Fortnite, I play it on the PC. Charlie streams on Twitch. We have a really good time. I suck at the game, but it's kind of fun. I mean, it's a PvP game, player versus player, so basically the last one standing wins, and it's frustrating at times. Sometimes I jump out of the plane and die before I even hit the ground. It's kind of rough, but ultimately it's a really fun game. So if you're interested in ever watching us stream, just let me know. I'm going to go in and correct this blue over here. Yeah. Give it a thicker. Yeah, this is perfect. So all I really got here is a couple of mountains that we just put some color on, and they look like mountains. You know, it's simple as that. And I really don't focus a lot on my mountains because, believe it or not, the grungier it looks, the better it looks. And I know that sounds crazy, but, you know, your eyes don't see the flaws, they see the beauty. And that's just how you're programmed to function. And when I'm actually painting on an oil canvas, I look down on myself because I think I can do so much better than I do sometimes. But I realize that everyone that I show the canvas to can't see any of the flaws that I see. They believe it's perfect work. And I know that's a problem with all artists. And I know that's a problem with my son. My son's an amazing musical, talented artist. He writes his own music. He's got some, in my opinion, it's award-winning music, and I'm not being biased. He's a very talented kid, but he's undermotivated because he doesn't think that he's good enough to be what he wants to be, and he struggles with trying to get better every day, and ultimately he does get better, but right now he's good enough, you know, for most people. So I got this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a pencil brush, just something really thin and simple with maybe a light gray color. I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to create a foreground. This is kind of where I want water to start. I think that's a little bit too light and too small. So let me go a little bit darker, raise the size of the brush a little bit, and try again. Okay, I just want to create a foreground line here. And this line is not on top of my mountains. That just tells me where I can draw. And I created on a new layer so I can remove it if I need to. So right now I think what I'm going to do is I have to go up here and create some clouds, and I'll do that later. Clouds are the hardest part for me. And down here I think I'm going to create a little island, something that comes way out here like this with water. This will all be water, and maybe we'll create a little something over here in this corner, maybe a tree here. I don't know yet. We'll get there. So I'm going to leave this. I'm going to call this my sketch layer. That's going to tell me this is going to be my mountains layer. My background will stay the same, but now I want to create a water layer. The water layer is it's simple. You're basically going to go into your gradient tool, choose a light and a dark blue. You want the darker blue to be to the back because you're seeing through more water. So I want that to start where my mountainscape line is. Now I'm going to go back and put some trees there. The mountain line will go back up. But ultimately, I think I want to do something like, it's a little bit too dark for me. So I'm going to start outside of that circle. Yeah, I don't like that. I'm going to get rid of that dark blue. I'm going to lighten it up some. It's just too dark for my scene right now. Maybe something like that. That's more what I'm looking for. Perfect. So I got a blue scene going on here. Alright. I'm going to go into my sketch layer and I'm going to sketch a few things that I want to add in, just so I know what my thought process is. So we know, I'm still on my gradient tool. Genius. Go back up here. So we know that we want to put an island here. We know that we need a little bit of trees or shrubbery or bushes to cut this line here. This line is the bottom of the mountains. There'll be probably some trees over here, maybe a tree here that's bigger, a tree here, maybe cover it in trees. Let's put 2 trees here. Let's put a huge tree on this foreground right here. That'll be a big tree. And then we'll put some little trees here, and we'll bring all this together. Alright, so I'm going to start. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my sketch layer again, and I'm going to start right here at the bottom of the mountain. And I'm going to grab what I call a leaf brush. You know, there's 1,000 brushes out there you can use, but some of them just work better than others. Now that's very snowy, so I think I'm going to go with evergreens, and I really want to start with a dark color in order to create an evergreen. So this is going to be my waterline trees. And I'm just going to go in here and throw in some color. Yeah, that's exactly what I want it to look like. So if you were doing this on an oil canvas, it would be like tapping your brush on the canvas. It's a little different than straight painting, but ultimately, if you know how to Photoshop a picture, you can become a much better artist. So, I've met tons of people that just do this for fun. That's what I'm doing it for. And it sounds crazy, but there's really no benefit to doing this other than I'm practicing and I want other people to see my work. So now I have a tree line here. I'm going to go back to my sketch because I want to see where I want my island. I want to go ahead and put some color down for this island here. This doesn't have to be beautiful. Just throwing in a whole bunch of colors. Yeah. It's kind of like a foreground island. Perfect. And over here we're going to do one like this. You know, give it that Bob Ross look. Bob Ross likes foreground stuff. It's really pretty. The way he taught people how to paint, it was a magnificent thing. If you guys have any questions while I'm going along, please feel free to ask. I'm not doing anything special. I'm just killing time. Water's a tough one to create. Most people have a hard time creating water. I'm going to take right here above my background layer, I'm going to create another layer. And this is going to be my clouds. Clouds are different. Clouds take a little bit of effort and work. Get a brush you like. I'm not even sure if this is a brush I like. It'll probably be perfect. And you can get bright white and you just start sketching. Just randomly sketch clouds. The hardest part about clouds is that the bottom of a cloud is dark. So a lot of people don't understand how to create that dark look. But like on a scene like this, is a beautiful, bright, sunny day, there's no darkness in the bottom of that cloud at all. It's just a little thinner than the rest of the cloud. This is perfect. Exactly what. So you kind of create what you have in mind. It's, you know, in the words of Bob Ross, this is your canvas. Do with it what you want. And then he cuts to a commercial and plays with a squirrel. I don't have any squirrels, so you're out of luck. I'm going to go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and I'm going to turn that blur down because I actually want to see the clouds. Here we go. Now I'm going to create another layer on top of that layer. This is Blur Clouds, and this layer will be Clouds. Now go over what I just went over and just bring some highlights out. Yeah, that's pretty. I like that. That's perfect. It's exactly how I want my clouds to look. Bring those highlights right out. Now I'm using a standard Windows color palette that comes with Photoshop. This is just a standard Photoshop palette. A lot of people don't use a standard palette. You can get different color palettes. You can get different brushes. This is a brush set that I use for almost everything I paint in Photoshop. There's just there's enough different style brushes in here to get what you need to create a cool painting. So I want to lighten up this area back here. It's cool. And creating a painting in Photoshop is really not as hard as it looks. I get a lot of messages when people see I posted them online. They say, "How do you do that?" And the truth is, I just sit down and do it. There's no special skill. It's years of practice. There's no real skill that said, "Hey, you can do it like this." I don't care who you are. You can take 1,000 teaching courses. You can't teach someone to love art. They have to love it. And when they love it, they can do anything with it. And that's just how it is. And I'm going to be realistic with you. I'm going to create this tree right here. It's going to be a foreground tree when I finish. If you guys are out there watching, please feel free to ask any questions. I don't see any questions out there yet, so I don't have a particular goal in mind. I'm just drawing. That's what I love to do, among other things. I really enjoy photography, but if you ever notice, like if you're a friend of mine and you're following me, if you ever notice on my Facebook page or anywhere else, I don't care to take pictures of cars or buildings or anything. You know what? It's all man-made. What I really like is taking pictures of wilderness, because wilderness is created by Mother Nature, and the world we live in is so beautiful, and there's so many things to see. And like my son keeps telling me that I really need to leave the country and go see more beautiful parts of the world. And I want to, but ultimately we're given one life, and I really want to see the rest of the U.S. as well. You know, I've never been down Route 66. I've never left the East Coast. I've seen everything on the East Coast. I've never left the East Coast. But I've been to the southernmost tip of Florida. I've been to the Keys. I've been all the way up the coast. I lived in Myrtle Beach for several years. I lived in Conway, right outside of Myrtle Beach. I went to Lakewood Elementary School in Myrtle Beach. And, you know, I've seen a lot of things. I was in Myrtle Beach during Hurricane Hugo. That was something. Oof. Hurricane Hugo. If you're out there watching, feel free to say hi. I get bored when I'm sitting here lonely doing nothing. Well, that was a loud car. Let's see if we can... Dark greenish brown color. I think that's too light. I want to mix brown and green. So I'm going to make a dark brown for the foreground and dark green for the background. See if we can fill in a tree here. What you do in your art program is completely up to you. You can make it as beautiful, or you know, you can stop here if you want. If you think this is the picture you want, this is where you could stop. I mean, there are no rules. There's nobody out there telling you have to keep going, you know? For me, I go until I'm satisfied. Sometimes I'm not satisfied at all and I don't share it. So what I share are usually only pictures that I'm satisfied with. You won't see me sharing a lot of the things that I fail at. And failing is part of learning. You know, there's a learning curve in every single thing you do. So if you fail, that means you had the opportunity to learn how to do it incorrectly. You know, I think it was Thomas Edison said, I didn't fail at creating a light bulb 700 times. I found 700 ways how to not create a light bulb. And that's the attitude you have to have. You know, you have to go in knowing that you're probably not going to get it right to start with. Let's go in and add some solid ones in here. There we go. I really like those sticking out. I have a deal going on just because I like the attention. If you share my YouTube account, when I get 100 subscribers, I will do a private one-on-one session teaching you how to do things that you want to learn how to do in Photoshop. So even if you don't own Photoshop, I do. So I can stream what I'm drawing to you directly, and it would just be me and you chatting. So that's pretty cool. Let's see. I'm going to keep it the same colors. I'm going to go in here and try to create some. It's not really the kind of trees I'm looking for. Let's see. These. Yeah. I'm going to go along. Lower the size of this brush way down. Throw in some, you know what, I need to go to a different layer there. Good call. This foreground waterline. Here we go. I'm going to go above the waterline, so I'm going to create a new layer above the waterline. We're going to call that tree waterline. Just going to go in and add some dark stuff. This is to differentiate the land from the mountains here. Perfect. So, I mean, the green is nice, but ultimately I'm probably going to cover most of the green up. The reason is because I want a little bit of green to be in there for evergreens, but obviously it's a winter scene with snow everywhere. There won't be snow on the trees. I love snow on trees, but it's a really hard thing for me to do. I don't know why. I got to practice it a little. But mostly it'll be fall colors like browns, and the blues up top will probably stay. But all right, perfect. Now I want to find a flat style brush. Don't know which one, but that's more like a light. Let's see. What's up, Matt? You out there? Kind of like that. I think maybe that'll work. I can get rid of this sketch layer, I'm sure. Yep. I'm just going to go ahead and delete it. I don't need it anymore. I know where everything is, and I want to go right above my water layer, and we can go ahead and rename that to water. We can name this water reflections. I think if you hit D on the keyboard, you get your standard black and white back. That's your default colors. I'm going to take a white and I'm going to sketch in water reflections. Now, these will just be really raw to begin with, but eventually they'll come together. If you guys are tuning in and you missed any of the beginning, I will be posting this on my YouTube channel soon. Don't fret. Yeah, something like just to give it that painted look. Now, it's not going to stay this way. It's not going to stay this way at all. I'm going to add a little blur to it. It's a little too much. Bring it down. Yeah, perfect. Now I want to go in with a dark sandy color. Same brush is fine. I'm going to go to the water. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I'm going to go on. Maybe I need to create a layer under my waterline trees and call it sand. So what I'll do is I'll go in here and take this brown, kind of create a sandy look by the beach. It gives it more of an island look, because rarely do you see trees go all the way up to the water. You usually get to see a little bit of sand. I'll just go along here, just a hint of that color. Now, the problem is the water's not dark enough, and I know that, and I knew that from the beginning. But there's certain things you want to get in there before you darken all that. So I think I'm going to go ahead and get a real big brush and grab a blue. See if I can go right up above my water layer and darken it. Maybe right up under the reflections. Call that my dark water layer. Yeah, that's exactly what I want. I think I'm going to bring my brush size down a little bit. 900's a little big. Go with maybe 500. Oh, why is it gray? Oh, where'd my blue go? That's weird. I know what happened. I accidentally touched one of those buttons on that fancy pen that I use. If you're out there viewing, feel free to say hi. I'm just killing some time on this beautiful Friday night. Don't have anything better to do. The wife is right here behind me.
Sorry. I'm leaving.
She's going out for girls' night, so have fun.
Well, thank you.
She's going to see Pink Floyd Laser Light Show. I think it's pretty awesome. I've always wanted to see one, but she's going to get to go without me, so that's all right. I'll go. We'll have a guys' night. If there's any guys out there watching, let's plan a guys' night. We don't need girls. I'm lying. We definitely need girls. They're the backbone of the world. Now I have a black brush. Now this is crazy, but I'm just going to go in and dab a little black on top of that blue, and what that does is that darkens the edge of the water, and back here where you can't see, that all gets a little bit darker right up in this area. It still looks blue. It's just the colors play tricks with your mind. Put a little bit of black in here all over. Now it's starting to look like water. A little bit at a time. All right. I'm going to take the water reflections and the dark water, and I'm going to merge them together. I use Control E. It merges those two together. So now they're both on one layer. The water will maintain the blue here. I'll probably work on the clouds. Actually, I can merge the cloud layer as well. I don't need to do a whole lot to them. Now I want to go in and grab a smaller brush, maybe like that. I'm going to grab pure white, and I'm going to sketch in. Actually, I don't need to be on the cloud layer. I need to be on the, I think I'm going to go on the sand layer. I'm going to sketch in this brush is a little bit too hard for my liking. Hold on. What I've done is I've turned on pen pressure. So now I'm using a pen, so you can only see based on how hard I touch the surface of the pen tablet. Now, people have this strange misconception that they need the world's best pen in order to draw stuff like. But you know what? All pens work the same, and the best pen in the world is not going to make you a better artist. Practice does. The pen tablet that I'm using, I purchased from Amazon. It's called the XP Pen, and it cost me $59, and it works better than a $200 one that I've previously purchased. So it has 2048 levels of pressure. It actually senses the amount of pressure that you draw with. It can make your lines larger or smaller. There was a time I did things like this with a mouse, but it's foolish. It's a waste of energy, and it takes 10,000 more strokes than what you're willing to give it. So when you can do it with a pencil, always do it with a pencil or a pen. So I do use a pen tablet, but the XP Pen is an awesome product. I highly recommend it. I haven't had any problems with mine. And if you need help learning how to hook it up or anything, just ask. I'll do what I can. I'm not your customer support, but if I'm going to teach you how to draw in Photoshop, I might as well teach you how to hook up your pen, right? So all I'm really doing here is sketching in distant light reflections on the water. It gives it a more realistic look. You get just a lot of little white sketches. And this is, Bob Ross does this with a palette knife. He uses a little palette knife and dips his edge of his palette knife in white and just scratches the canvas. So that's the look I'm trying to achieve, the palette knife look. Perfect. That's exactly what I'm going for. I'm going to try something here. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I'm going to go right up above the foreground trees, and I'm going to grab my leaf brush, my favorite brush, and I'm going to use a light blue color, like a sky blue, and a white. I've never done this before, so if I fail at this, I can always delete that layer and try again. I'm going to try to put some snow on these trees. See what happens. I can see now that I want to reverse these colors because I want white to be my major color. I want blue to be my other color. Look more like white trees to me. What do you think? Anybody out there watching? Tell me what you think about that. I don't like it. That will get deleted, I'm sure. That would also mean that I have to go in here and put a boatload of snow. Yeah, it's just not for me. I don't know. Not into it. Gonna try something different. Alright, so that's an evergreen tree. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead back to my trees since I'm already working on them, and I'm going to add a little green to them because they are evergreen trees and there's not a whole lot of snow on the ground anywhere. The snow's on the mountains. Yeah, kind of like that. Just go in and add some green. I mean, what's an evergreen without any green in it? Gray's pretty and all, but it's not green. If anybody in the south is watching, the greens are much greener in the north. You know, it's longer winters, more rain, but they're just a lot greener and they look, you know, there's something about it. Down in the south, the sun tends to beat down on all the greens and they look dull and bland. Alright, so I'm at a point where I feel like I can start playing with colors now. I'm not finished by any means. What I need to do now is maybe go to my mountains. This is cool. This button right here is lock transparency. Now I'm going to tell you what that means. That means any pixel on my screen that does not have a color in it at all cannot be colored. So I lock transparency. I'm going to go up here to a brush that I don't know. Actually, I'll just pick a random brush. It doesn't matter. I kind of like this, but it's huge. So I will make it a little smaller. And I'm going to go over here to my mixer brush. Because what I want to do is mix colors. I should have chose my brush before I went to my mixer. But that's okay. Let's go to something like this. Yeah. Alright, so now that I have my transparent pixels locked, that means that I can basically do anything and nothing happens unless it's on the mountain. What's good about that is I can go in, mix my colors, and make them look a lot more like a painting. And I don't have to worry about going outside of the bounds of my mountain. Now, this is something you can't really do on a canvas. So it makes your work look a little different, but it brings out certain aspects that you can't get with a canvas. See, like, you know, ultimately the lower portion of the mountain should be a little bit blurry, out of focus. You just want the top part of the mountain to be in focus. You can sketch that right in. You can also, if you notice what I've done there, it's a little dark and I don't like it. The reason for that is that mixer tool is also using a color. So I can reverse those colors and add blue instead of darkness. That's a lot better. That's kind of what I'm going for there. That blue. Blue gets a little brighter. Yeah, I'm okay with that. So I'm going to hit my D on my keyboard. That's going to bring me back to default black and white. I'm going to reverse the colors, change to white, and go do that to this. Now this is cool because here's where you get to mix your grays and blues together. And you get that look you're trying to go for. And remember, I can't paint anywhere outside of the pixels that I've already created. So that's a major plus. That makes Photoshop so much easier to use than Canvas. You know, your mistakes are easily corrected. I like this. I like the blur. Really brings it out. Okay. I'm going to do that same thing. I'm going to take off this. I'm going to go up and do the same thing with my tree waterline. Because I don't want it to all be perfect. I want to intentionally create chaos in the image. And I'll cover that back up probably with a lighter color. You go to your, let's see, that's a foreground line. Yeah, I'm going to go back here in this line and create a little chaos. Now sometimes when you don't use that tool correctly, you can make a major mistake, but it's simple to correct. So the simplicity correcting it really benefits you. I'm using white. I want to switch that back to black and get some dark in there. There we go. Much better. It's a little too thick for what I like. Go in. Yeah, I don't like that. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing with the sand. It allows the sand to come out and really look good. Go back to that white brush. Sketch in some more highlights. I don't like it. I think they're too thick. I'm going to correct them. I have, go back to this here, normal with pressure. Lexi, come on in. Just come on in. My daughter's sitting at the door. She wants to see what I'm drawing. So if you're out there watching, she's going to join me on the video. So, you know, the picture is only as good as you're willing to put time into it. You can put an hour into it, you can put a day into it, or you can put weeks or months into it. And the more detail you add, the better the picture ultimately looks. Everyone say hi, Lexi. Lexi,
Hi.
say hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Since I'm not really drawing for any reason today, she can join me. Cool. One of the things you don't want to forget about is stalks of trees. Tree stalks are very important. And the tree itself is really, really important. If you do like a background, you're going to want to use dark colors, like that's what too much. Let's see, I know I got one in here somewhere I made. I hear people yelling outside. Ah, Peanut, the neighbor's dog. Okay, so I'm not crazy about the way that brush looks. I think I'm going to modify it. Go into scattering. I want to change my scatter amount. I want them to be closer together. Kind of like that. I also want to maybe change the angle of the brush. I kind of like it like it is. Let's see what happens. What's the worst thing that can happen? Yeah, kind of like that. So, just putting in trees around. If you're out there watching and you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm just doing this because I have nothing better to do. There we go. I like that. I'm actually going to save this brush. I like it so much. So go here, file. Go back to another window. New brush preset. I'm going to name this tree brush. And now I have a preset down here. There's my tree brush. Cool. So I can go back to that at any time. And I can pretty much use that brush to create a whole bunch of different looks way back in the background for trees. Now I want to go to my waterline trees, just put a little draw thick. Am I drawing in the right place? No. Duh. It's my foreground trees. That's what I thought. See? Just did that wrong. Okay. Go to my foreground tree layer and slightly sketch in some of that. That's my tree here. Just enough to make your eyes think there's something there. Because every limb's held up by the tree itself. You can also go up here and paint a little bit here. Beautiful. Who's out there watching with me? Hey, thanks, Stephanie. Hang out for a few minutes, and I'll try to finish it up. I'm just bored on this beautiful Friday night. It's pouring down rain outside. The wife went out with some friends. It's girls' night. They're taking her to see a Pink Floyd Laser Light show. I'm so jealous. I need to go out for girls' night. Let's see. I think I want to go in and bring my clouds out. I mean my mountains out a little bit. There's a little something about it that bugs me. I think I'm going to fix them. Yeah, just like that. Take that brush and make it smaller. Go to my mountains. White color. Let's see. A little smaller. I want to drag this out more. That's my problem. There's something I don't like about this mountain like this much better. There we go.
You spelled my name wrong.
Who?
Stephanie. You put a Y instead of an I.
That's okay.
What's funny?
Lexi said you spelled her name wrong. You put a Y instead of an I. She's a Lexi. Her name's actually Alexis. It's a beautiful name. She likes to watch me draw, so since I'm not doing anything specific tonight, I'll let her come hang out with me. I think I'm going to put some color in the sky because there's too much blue and green in it. I think I want to go... Yeah, I think that's something that I need to do. So, I'm going to grab a really big, really light, soft edge brush. I'm going to go to my background layer and I'm going to sketch in some colors. Now, you can do this very lightly and it'll make an amazing difference. If you see that, I'm sketching in orange, and that orange kind of looks purplish and hazy, and it changes the overall picture. It's okay. She doesn't mind, Steph. She gets a thrill out of watching Facebook comments and stuff. So, yeah. I like this. My mom always told me that there was an old saying that sailors used to go by. She said, pink sky at night, sailor's delight, and pink sky in morning, sailors take warning. And what that meant is if the sun's going down and the sky is pink, that means the following day is going to be a beautiful day. Pink sky at night, sailor's delight. Now, if you wake up in the morning and the sky is pink, then it's going to be a very rough, windy, rainy, bad day. And believe it or not, I have tested that theory all of my life, and it has never, ever failed me. Every single time there's a pink sky at night, the next day is beautiful. So I look for those skies. I look for that pink sky because if I know that the next day is going to be beautiful, I know I can go out and shoot photographs and do so many other things. I believe it more than the weathermen now because, to be honest, I've never seen a job in my life you could be at for years and get your whole job wrong and still keep it. So, I guess we should all aspire to be weathermen. Okay, that blue is not working out for me. Let's, I'm going to go to the tree water line. I think it's that layer, yep. And you know why? Because I'm using the eraser tool. Duh. Here we go. Go! Let's go to the paint tool, turn that on to trees.
Why did you turn that on?
Turn what on?
The thing.
Over here?
Yeah.
It was a Homer Simpson. Go! I made a mistake on the painting. Let's see, maybe make that a grayish color. It's too thick, I think. Maybe blue, dark blue. Muted, dark blue. Maybe I'll put it behind the tree water line. Let's see how this looks. Too blue. A little grayer. Let's go down here, make it a lot more muted. Yeah. Let's add some taller trees. Yeah, I'm kind of into that. Now these trees come from brush presets that have been used over time, so I can teach any of you how to create your own brush presets. Basically draw what you want, select it all, and create a new brush out of it. It's kind of neat. Photoshop's a really neat thing to use when you learn how to use it. So now I'm just slightly erasing a lot of what I just created. And it's going to bring out, hopefully, the foreground a little. Kind of looks like fog on there too. I like that a lot.
It says you can comment on your own video.
So that's about where I want to be here. I'm going to go in and maybe add some more color to the sky. I like yellows. So probably going to add a little yellow. Way back here. A little bit. Oop. I'm using a background color. Hold on. Let's make this a orange. Since I'm erasing, I want to reverse these colors. That should. You know what? I'm just gonna use the paint tool because it's easier for me. I'll go up here, choose the same brush, and paint in my yellows on top of that orange. And I'll probably bring the orange up a little so that there's more colors in the sky. Grab any color orange and just I'm gonna go to more poppy orange because I also have my hardness, my pressure selected. So now, I guess kind of like it. I need maybe some brighter green colors, something a little lighter like this. Go back to my leaf brush. See if we can throw a little bit of light colors on top of the foreground trees, just because they're closer. Just because they're closer, and that'll highlight the trees. What, love? Just put a little highlight there. That highlight changes everything about that tree. Go in here and highlight the grass a little. I think I want to put the dark water, a little bit more dark water in there. See what happens here. This really darkens up the picture and makes it look more realistic. I'm going to take those. Hold on, Lex. Is this a hobby I enjoy or is this a job? Steph, this is a hobby. I get nothing for this. I just get on the internet and kill time, and unfortunately, all throughout my life, people have told me I should do something with it, but I never really took it seriously until more recently. I wish it were my job. I'm currently unemployed. My unemployment has ran out and bills are coming in faster than I can pay them. But I'm not going to let it get me down. I'm just going to keep creating awesome things, and maybe one day it will be my job. Maybe not. There's really no way to tell. My job was mechanical engineer for a screen printing business out of Philadelphia, and it seems that there aren't a lot of jobs that hire low-end mechanical engineers right now, and I probably applied for 70 jobs in the last 6 months, and you wouldn't believe the amount of overqualifications you receive. And I think it's mostly to do with the fact that maybe your resume intimidates people. I mean, there's no logical explanation for a person like me not being able to find a job. I've been working all of my life. I've never Never been out of a job before. But it is what it is. It will. It'll all work out, and I'll continue to create art. This is my hobby. Everything you see on my page, like photography, videography, video editing, mixing, it's all just a hobby. And I love to share cool things with people. Makes me feel better. Makes me feel like I had the opportunity to inspire someone just for a moment. You know, if you got in Photoshop and you drew a picture tomorrow and it was beautiful and you got hundreds of comments on it, I would find that awesome, because I know that you're watching my video. So it's a little bit like inspiration. I don't get anything for this. I have a YouTube channel, but it's not monetized yet. They won't allow you to monetize it until you have a certain amount of viewers. People have pretty much told me all of my life to do something with talent, and I never really took it seriously until more recently. Maybe one day. Maybe one day it'll be my job and I won't have to struggle anymore. Because that's what it comes down to. It's all a struggle. If you're interested in this kind of thing, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It does make me feel better. That's about all it does when I have a lot of subscribers. I have a brand new YouTube channel. I had a channel with a lot of subscribers, but I never monetized it, and it wasn't really the genre of things that I wanted to do. So I just decided to create a whole new one and try to get more subscribers on it. The problem is the art field is way oversaturated and way underpaid. You know, I could get a job today as an artist, but it's not even enough money to pay my car payment. There's too many artists coming out of college that just do this for free, man.
Can I subscribe to you?
Of course you can subscribe to me. So, that's pretty much it right there. I hope you guys enjoyed the Facebook live stream, and if you want me to draw something in the future, you know, go over to my YouTube page, like it, subscribe, like all my videos, because ultimately that helps my videos raise up in the hierarchy. The more people who see them, the better I feel about them, and the better they make me feel, and the more they make me want to do. There was a lot of years where I didn't do anything with art because who cares, you know, who really wanted to see them. And I find out now that more people would like to see them than I can imagine. So now I have to find those people to give me a hand in creating cool things. And the way they can help me is just by subscribing, liking, commenting, and helping me raise up in the world of YouTube. I'm just darkening the front because a dark front always brings out a light background. So I'm just darkening it a little bit, giving it a more dead look. That didn't work out. Let's see. Wrong layer. Right. I think it's that layer. I've been doing this, you know, for probably about a week now. I've went live 3 or 4 times and just show people, you know, what they can do if they try. I don't by any means consider myself a professional at this. There are so many people out there that put me to shame. But every time that I get on here and draw something is practice, and it's one step closer. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed hanging out, and I hope you love the picture. I'll go back to it one more time. Hope I was able to help you learn a few new tricks, and I will post the full resolution picture on my Facebook account. This entire video will be uploaded to YouTube shortly, and please like, comment, subscribe, because that's the only reason I'm doing it, so more people can see what I can do. And thanks for hanging out. Love ya. Adios. 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 Goodbye.